my friends, to a podcast that's been described as
emotional
and
terrifying.
one guy even said it was
So awesome it will shock you to the core.
finally another podcast about Godzilla and all his giant monster friends.
This could be the end of civilization.
Yeah, probably. So join your hosts, Cass and Slick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the podcast from Odo Island. Welcome to the podcast from Odo Island, finally. Follow us on the internet at Odo Island Pod. I'm still doing it.
still doing it.
I am Cass, and with me, as always, is a man whose girlfriend won't even allow him to kiss him.
Oh.
Oh. That wasn't the reaction I was going for, so I'll just say this.
I mean, you just pulled back the curtain on my life so much.
I'll just say this. He's been an AI-generated voice this whole time. Would you stop?
You got me.
There it is.
You
It's
got
like,
me.
How you doing? It was a two-parter.
It was. I am doing well. This is our first. We are now corporate sellouts. As
Yeah.
this is our first podcast with ads.
It took over 90 to get us here, but we're finally there.
We did, but also we left it up to the fans to support us. We had a little Twitter poll saying, would it be detrimental if we had ads? Because I mean, this is our retirement plan now. But and only one person said no ads. Everyone else said get that money.
So I abstained from voting.
I did as well. It's the one time I did abstain from voting.
I didn't vote in it. I would have voted for the ads just because originally when we first started this podcast, I asked you, I was like, do you want to do ads or no? And you were like, no, let's
We weren't there yet. We're there
get
now.
it going. And then now we're like, yeah, let's set this up so we have ads so we can help pay our bills and maybe
Buy more toys.
Maybe turn
Buy
it
more
out to some gambling or make our audience a little bit more degenerate. So.
And honestly, we don't have enough content or time to have a Patreon. And,
I'd feel really weird starting a Patreon.
yeah, I feel a little. I mean, I think if we were much larger, having a Patreon would be different. If we were putting out some like really exclusive content on that.
I'll just start eating more pizza. Oh, you meant like reach.
but at this stage, I do feel I'm also uncomfortable asking people to sign up for a Patreon, so we're doing it this way. But there's nothing wrong with the podcast that Patreons, nothing at all. But I just don't think we have like the bandwidth at the moment to put enough extra content out. I think to make that something that I feel comfortable with.
Just real quick, what would be like a sample of our extra content? What would
I
that
feel like
even
we
be?
would like talk wrestling on the Patreon. Like we wouldn't even talk like Godzilla stuff. I feel like we would just.
Do we just make OIWF a Patreon exclusive to make us do it again?
To make it even more like the Major Pod. I feel like it would totally be like wrestling topics, like on the Patreon or something. So, yeah, I feel like it'd be something like that. I don't know.
Because we're already out of Godzilla movies. It's like,
But we're not out of Godzilla topics or video games or stuff like that.
there's still a lot of meat in that bone.
I guess we could do.
You could throw that bone into a pot of water. Baby, you got a stew.
We could put like our own version of Riff Tracks on a Patreon. No, this is great. Now we're just kicking it. Now we're gonna have a Patreon. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Not now.
Maybe in the future.
But yeah,
I'll leave that door open.
So there's our little disclaimer as to, you might hear some ads now, but it's with your support and your backing.
You gave us the okay to do it, so it's kind of on you at this point. So this week we have an interesting topic this week. I'm glad
another fan voted topic.
I'm glad our fans voted on this one to get us to watch this because I probably wouldn't have watched it otherwise. Number one, and number two, what the fuck?
So we are covering the odd but
Attack of the Cock People.
They're mushrooms. Matango in Japan, Attack of the Mushroom People in America. They were very phallic. I can't deny that. But do you have anything else you'd like to ask me first?
Yeah. What's new? What's cooking? What's the hap?
So
what are the kids saying?
We had a few little news items this week. There's little bits of information starting to leak out not leak out, but starting to come out in interviews about the new Godzilla Apple Plus series. Sounds like we'll be getting Godzilla will not be the only kaiju. Sounds like there will be
different monsters in the 50s and present, or
10
years ago.
Yes,
at this point.
Yes, so it sounds like a mix of some new ones. I'm sure we're gonna get some more of like the original MonsterVerse creations that have already been around.
Like episodic TV is where new monsters get their chance. Ultraman kind of proves that, you know.
Yes.
So
that's
I'm very interested in new monsters for the TV show. I don't know how excited about like already existing Toho properties in this are. Like maybe Rodan, maybe like
yeah.
I don't know how excited I am for that to be on the TV. I would like that to be in movies as like featured monsters. You know what I mean? But for TV, definitely new monsters is where I'm at.
This is where I wish the MonsterVerse and Playmates were kind of synergized, like the way Bandai is with Ultraman. Like, so with like Ultraman Decker, for example, like a episode would air, and whatever kaiju it was that was in that episode would be in that episode, and then like the next day Bandai is like, okay, go buy the figure now. You know? And it was like they were dropping them like basically with the like every like 3 episodes you got a big figure dump. And oh boy, did that work on me. I scooped them like all I basically was like, because also like the Bandai Ultraman figures, like they're like $5 a piece.
Nice.
And so it was like I would scoop them up from like HobbyLink Japan, like and you know, I wish like there was like that same sort of synergy with because I just know that's just not going to be possible in this situation. But like it'd be awesome if Playmates could do something like that with.
Maybe it is like if like it's not going to happen. Obviously,
I know,
but like maybe it's possible.
That would be so good. It was the same thing with Bandai did with Singular Point. They're like, Jet Jaguar has like this new form. Oh, here's that figure you can buy.
They were pretty good with the Singular Point figures.
They have in Japan, Bandai in Japan with like figure releases, they got it figured out down to a science. Like, you know, it's like you see something new on TV in a movie, don't worry, we gotcha. I remember like when The Mandalorian first started, it took 7-8 months like to get like a Mandalorian figure. It took forever. And I remember going like, I was like, why?
Oh yeah. No,
I was like, why do you not have these like ready to go? Or how long it took to get a Baby Yoda figure?
Yeah, because the Baby Yoda, that was the thing, because they didn't want to spoil it because it was like a huge marketing opportunity.
Yeah, but like,
and then they pushed it back so much that they kind of missed out in that window.
Yeah, I mean they put it on everything else.
Baby Yoda is still awesome.
Getting a figure though, I was like, I just couldn't believe like the lag time between the Mandalorian airing and like figures getting released. I remember that was like wild to me.
Pitch meetings, that was like at the end of every pitch meeting video on YouTube, they kind of like lampoon like a subject, like a controversial subject about whatever they're covering. And when they did the Mandalorian pitch meeting, that was the thing. It's like, yeah, let's make sure we have these like marketing opportunities ready to go. And then it's like delays in Mandalorian merchandising costing Disney millions.
I wonder, I mean, they must have just not expected like that show to take off like it did, which surprises me. But
I probably think that it was more to do with them like not wanting spoilers to get out there.
Yeah,
because like,
well, it was also like you don't get the Mandalorian himself took forever to come out.
Yeah,
that drove me nuts.
But like, I feel like, remember when before GVK came out, like a year before it came out, we got like the toy
the figure leaks. Yeah,
that's what I mean. So I think they were trying to avoid that.
Yeah, but then but also like when like Book of Boba Fett was coming out, it still took forever to get like the Boba Fett figure,
which is so crazy because you go to like any store,
not as long, but
and there's like tons of Star Wars shit there, but it's all shit I have zero interest in.
The Obi-Wan figures were a lot closer in time to the show. That was handled a lot better.
I still never found a Darth Vader Black series.
Oh, I'll still keep a look at it. I feel like before you said you were looking for that, I used to see it all the time, and now I don't see it at all.
Because I never saw it before you said it, and it was like, oh, I see him all the time. I'm like, really? Because I don't.
Yeah.
Because I do. And I'm kind of particular about like the Star Wars figures I collect for. I'm more of like the original, like 3 movies. Like I got a Darth Maul Power of the Force figure.
Yeah,
like I'm cool with that. Like I think like the original characters though are where it's at. Like
Yeah.
I do have a Sasha Banks though.
Oh yeah,
a Mercedes Monet.
You haven't even seen it yet, the show yet. But actually, that's a good segue to my other news topic. Speaking of Bandai, we did get some figure releases. This is another good thing that Bandai does. They reveal something, it goes up for pre-order, it's getting released like 3 weeks later, for the most part.
Yeah.
Except for the chocolate Hedora, which
Oh,
dropped back in November.
a lot of nerve calling it that.
That's the official name for it.
Yeah, I know.
And
A lot
but
of
you know,
nerve.
that is going to be shipping in the next. Probably by the time this episode airs, it will probably be shipped. So that's going to be a nice figure review in a
Dog
future
shit.
podcast.
No, that thing looks awesome though. I like that thing. Out of all the stuff that was revealed on Godzilla Day, that was probably like my favorite figure.
It's probably going to be.
It just made me smile.
It's probably going to be mine
Yeah.
as well. But we got Bandai Movie Monster Series reveals of Final Wars Godzilla,
Yep.
Final Wars Hedorah, Final Wars Manda, and then to round out the Final Wars theme, 1993 Mechagodzilla.
Yep.
You know, but I'm gonna say I think I'm passing on this wave.
Which was this close to like if they were doing Final Wars. There's been a lot of talk of Zilla lately.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like
Yeah,
this
really
close
missed the boat.
to like
Missed
to
the
really like doing it. But
Yep. Yep. But I think I'm gonna kind of pass on this wave.
yeah.
I don't like how the Manda looks. The Manda head is like ginormous compared to the rest
I'll
of his
probably
body.
get it because like I don't have any Manda representation and I need it.
The singular point figure I think is way better looking, personally. Yeah, because again, the head looks like way oversized. It looks like they basically took the singular point body for Manda and then put like this like new head on it
Mhm.
that like doesn't really look right.
So you're saying we got a big head, little head situation?
Yes,
Manda is the franchise Shane Douglas of
Yes.
the Kaiju universe.
That's a deep cut for those
Love
of you
it.
who collect wrestling figures. I don't like the Hedorah figure either. It's a little too lanky looking. I do really like the Godzilla one, but you know, for me to like place an order where like I'm importing these figures, like, you know, I'm not gonna just buy like one figure. You know, I want there to be like a handful that I can purchase together.
The Final Wars Godzilla 2 is like I like it, but like in terms of like a Godzilla design, it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
And I already have like what I consider a pretty decent Final Wars Godzilla figure with the Playmates one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, like it's not like great, but for $10 it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I also have some like really nice vinyl Final Wars Godzilla figures, and yeah, again, also not like I like the design a lot. Not one of my favorites. I do appreciate how many cat-like features he
Yes.
has, as we are cat people.
Yeah.
On this podcast, but
By the way, your cat like loved me
During the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Yep.
Royal Rumble.
Yep. G sure did.
Yeah, that was nice.
But don't get why Mechagodzilla 93 is randomly inserted in this wave.
Especially since it's like kind of like universally like recognized as like everyone's least favorite Mechagodzilla.
Nowadays, yeah. I mean, he's such a product of the 90s.
Yeah.
You know.
He's kind of like I don't know. He's got like that weird round face. I don't know.
But
I
mean,
don't hate it, but I don't love it.
also, my very first. Well, I think my very first Godzilla figure was probably one of the Imperial Godzilla figures. But the first Bandai figure, which I think was also like the third figure I ever had that my parents bought me when I was a little kid, was it was released in 1992 or 93, I think. It was that Bandai Mechagodzilla figure.
Well, that movie came out in 93, so it had to be 93, right?
Sometimes they had like a little bit of like a lead on the figures had like a little bit of a lead on them back then.
Interesting.
So like, oh no, it came out in 93
Since it was-
because that movie came out in December of 93, so that was out in 93.
I was gonna say because like even if it came out in 92, that's like a lot of lead time, especially
Yeah,
like from Japan.
Because
to
I was thinking,
US in the 90s.
of the December release when I was
Yeah.
thinking of the figure, but no, that movie. But no, so like the figures just kind of like have like a lead time though in the movies back then. Like I remember the Space Godzilla figure was out before the movie was out, I think, and Because I remember like getting G-Fan magazine and like they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna like Space Godzilla's coming out like in a couple weeks, but hey, we get a whole bunch of pictures of, like the Bandai figure that's out, like where you can see the. I mean, there's it's that's pre-internet. There's less of like a need to keep things so secret, but this was like a fanzine that like had like
only like the hardcore people.
Yeah, it had like
look
1,200 subscribers back then. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe like 2,000-3,000 at the most. Like, it was not. It wasn't like you were spoiling the news, but
so is JD like the like the Meltzer of the kaiju world, or insider joke?
I guess he actually was the Meltzer when it came to the G98 design, because that was where everyone learned about the copyright designs for G98 got leaked, and were circulated through GFan, but.
That's kind of what I was getting at. There's been a lot of Godzilla 98 internet drama lately.
Oh yeah, because the figure, that giant figure is coming out. That's like $2,000.
Which, who cares if it's called Godzilla or Godzilla 98? It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, that's
why are you getting all particular about this?
No, if that's the worst thing that happens to you this week, it's a good week.
It's not the worst thing that happened to me this week.
I didn't mean you. I meant the people getting upset. But
because I wasn't upset about it.
That figure does look fantastic.
Yeah.
I sent that in a DM to somebody who's been on the pod in the past, who is a giant Zilla fan, and I said, time to put up, my friend. Let's see how big of a fan you are. You know who you are if you're listening. But yes, that figure does look pretty sweet. Statue. It's a statue. It's like 3.
I feel like
tall.
Bandai, Playmates, whoever, just give us a Zilla figure, like a $10-15 cheap ass. Shitty Zilla figure.
Listen, I would love a Bandai movie once, and specifically, I then want one for Zilla Junior from the animated series, because that's
if they do
the
that,
goat right
perfect.
there.
Yeah, I'll get that absolutely. I just have zero representation of that design in my collection, and I have a pretty decent collection nowadays.
Of Godzilla 98 in general.
Yes, yeah. Nothing of him. Nothing. But like, yeah, like I have like Varan. And like just tons of like random shit now, but like nothing of that. And that was like sort of like the first Godzilla movie I saw in theaters. You'd think I'd have something for it, but I don't.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they're like a lot of the old Trendmasters, like G98 figures too. Like they're kind of pricey.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm kind of a cheapskate.
But
frugal is how I describe myself.
Frugal. I'm also frugal.
I also do splurge on large purchases on myself, though.
Yeah. What else is there in news? Oh, your boy GMK is in battle. Godzilla from GMK is in Battle Line. We'll just call him GMK.
Yep.
He's in Battle Line.
So
fantastic unit.
I wish they put him at 7 for me, and I'm just kind of like, if you put him at 10, I would use him. But like.
Well, you got to work your way up the arena, my friend.
I know it's because they start me off and they take arena stuff back. Like where I was in the last one with the GVK stuff was everything was at 10 because by the time I unlocked them all, I was higher up.
Yeah,
but this time I'm just not playing as much.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but I have like Ghidorah, who like they're. For whatever reason, that's like the only power-ups I've been getting lately is Ghidorah. Mm-hmm. So we went from like 4 to like an 11.
Well, that's good. That's good.
No, it's
a fantastic
awesome.
Place to be.
It's awesome, but it also means like, oh, sweet, I got like my favorite Godzilla, and I can't use him because he's only level 7. Then once this month wears out, I'm never gonna use him because he's a 1.
Get all those G materials, invest them right into him.
Dude, I'm putting them in Kiryu though.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
I got into a battle with someone the other day. And like literally all I did was just launch my my 30 leveled stealth bomber and my
you have a level 30 stealth
I have a level 30 stealth bomber, baby. And then I launched Kiryu, which is I think at 14 now, and immediately killed the kid. And he was messaging me like, here it goes, and like he just launched it out and I was like he thought he was going to crush me, and I crushed him. And
I love that
awesome.
instead of the more conventional Shin Godzilla train bombs to use with Kiryu, you have invested. But that's great that you've invested it in the stealth bomber.
The stealth bomber does so much more damage, though.
When you deploy the stealth bomber, well, so if your train bombs are leveled up to a certain point, like they're an instant kill after the absolute zero because they will do more.
My fights don't get there.
Okay. But so like
I have not had a fight that goes into. I take that back. I've had one fight that has gone into the overtime in the past 3 months.
Huh.
One. It's. I'm telling you, dude.
You got good, pal.
The stealth bomber and the Kiryu thing is legit. That's all I'm gonna say. Because like, people will start off the fight and they'll just launch like what's his face there, Caesar. And he'll just be running down. I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to launch my level 30 Minua, and he's going to stop him. And then I'm going to launch Kiryu, and half your life is gone immediately. And it sucks to be you, pal. And then I launch my Stealth Bomber and Kiryu at the same time when I get like 11 seconds built up, like 10 seconds, I'll launch the Bomber.
Mm-hmm.
And then a second later, I'll launch Kiryu, because by the time like my level 30 Bomber is at their leader.
Mm-hmm.
And so just launching them at the same time just crushes them.
Now, when you launch the bomber, do you ever say the lines from Shin Godzilla where you go like, payback time, Roger, payback?
No, I don't do anything like that.
And then when it gets destroyed, do you then say from Shin Ultraman like, oh, we ran out of bombs?
I'll start doing that now. Where the U.S. government has run out of artillery.
Yeah, that's how you separate fact from fiction. But yeah, I'm using GMK at level 12, which is like the max rentable level. And all my other 4-star units are in like the low 20s that I use for the most part. I think they're all 20 to 23. And I tell you, at level 12, GMK can hang. And I'm in rank 66, which is the new rank that they started last season, which someone in one of the Discord groups that I'm in adequately coined. I'm now entering the Thunderdome when it comes to rank 66.
Okay.
Because it's like everyone's rocking like level 30 4-star units and stuff.
You're
and
with the whales.
Yeah, but there are. I'm also like I said in another episode, I'm in some Discord chats with a lot of those people. Like they're all like super cool people and stuff like that.
Sure,
but like
yeah.
I see them coming, I'm like, oh man, I'm about to get fucking waxed, and and that's what I do. But I like before GMK, I feel like I could not hang with them, even with all my shit being at the levels that it's at. GMK has like such a strong debuff and like area of attack that even at level 12, he makes me competitive. And actually, in some cases, I'm pulling out wins against people that are way above me level wise. So I'm investing all my future resources into boosting up GMK. That's my plan for the next couple months.
I beat a guy with a crown the other day. I felt pretty proud of myself.
The crown means I got 500 wins as that leader.
He had what was it? He had the level 30 Godzilla icon. When he launched him, it was covered in green shit.
Like, that's how mine looks.
He seemed pretty high leveled.
Oh, I unlocked the.
I eked out the win against him. It was close, but I eked it out.
I unlocked the alternate skin for Final Wars Godzilla, which is the Kumunga spiderweb draped over him. It's so cool. I love how that looks. Battle Line, when you hit real good.
Yeah.
Real good.
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
I play it every day, unfortunately.
I play it every day, fortunately. And I'm told people love the Battle Line talk. I hear that from all sorts of random places that people love the Battle Line talk.
Well, I don't think I ever said this on here. If I did, correct me, but I am Bill Brasky. So if you've gone against Bill Brasky, that was me.
Oh, that was
Bill Brasky, podcaster.
I am still Odo Island podcasts because the T don't fit, and my like little tag subtitle is Legend of Odo Island.
Yeah,
because always promoting, always on brand.
If I had that, I would get it, but I don't think I could get it at this point. I think that was that like an event thing.
I think it was during the season that G54 launched.
Okay, yeah.
I think.
I didn't get there, so I'm not gonna get that one.
Yeah, I don't really remember the specifics. I don't pay too much attention to the titles, but I saw that one. I was like, well, I was like,
obviously, yeah,
gonna be on brand.
Anything with Odo Island, I'm gonna use.
Yeah.
Like the dickhead from Odo Island, if they make that one.
That'd be funny if they did that. That'd be really unexpected.
That'd be me.
That'd be a nice little twist.
Yeah. Speaking of dickheads.
I was about to say, speaking of dickheads. Matango.
Let's talk about the topic today, finally.
That was good. It was a good little substantive intro there. Yeah, so we did Matango. I will set the table here. Matango, released in 1963. With pretty much the team that is the team behind Godzilla and every other Toho masterpiece. So this is directed by Ishiro Honda,
yep.
And this was written by Takeshi Kimura, who was a very, very prolific Toho writer in the 50s, 60s, and beyond. And so this was a movie that was a bit of a personal / passion project for Ishiro Honda and Kimura. And it ended up earning double its production budget. It was a relatively big or pretty notable big hit. This is often kind of held in high regard of like horror movies from the 60s. However, Toho did not want to continue doing these like kind of non kaiju movies in like 1963, and they kind of squashed some other potential ideas that Ishiro Honda and Takeshi Kimura wanted to do.
That's too bad.
And Kimura was so upset with that he continued to be a writer at Toho for a long time, but he started citing off in his work under the pseudonym Karo Mabuchi to show his displeasure. Like, he didn't want to put his name on stuff anymore, and his quote was, "It's no longer my work, it's Toho's work."
Like when Trey Parker credited himself as Juan Schwartz.
He basically Alan Smithied himself, but like in a way. So the story itself is based on a story from 1903, I think, called "Voice in the Night," which involves a sailor or a boat coming across a person on another smaller boat at sea in the middle of the night. They ask for food because their wife is sick and is probably dying, and they go to shine a light in the boat, and the guy says, no light. He goes, "Here, I'll tell you my story though of how we got here." And basically he recounts the story that they got shipwrecked at sea, and basically food was low except for this fungus that they found on the island or found in the boat excuse me, to sustain themselves, and that basically eating those mushrooms has made both him and his wife sick and basically on death's door. And then, after finishing his story, the people on the larger boat, they like give them some food, and as they watch them kind of go off into the moonlight, they see like a little bit of like a moon ray like kind of catches the guy's face, and it's clear that he's like morphing into a mushroom from eating this fungus. So this is the most significant adaptation of that story. However, I think the BBC it was also did a more truthful or more faithful adaptation in the 50s. So,
but I mean, this movie hit all those topics.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. It's inspired by. I would say.
Yeah.
But that is the back. I mean, in America, it's known as Attack of the Mushroom People. It is largely unedited from the Japanese version. I think the only significant difference is I think the title card.
Okay.
Opening sequence I think is a little bit extended in the Japanese version, but it's not significant. I think it's just credits rolling over more, generic scenes. So there you go. The table has been set. The mushrooms are served.
Yeah, very informative. I had no idea about that backstory. So cool. I have a couple things I just want to say right out the door for this movie. Watching it, this was my kind of movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't know. Like I'm a big fan of Cheers. I like things having like sort of like the same setting and like long scenes in the same area where it's like it's a little claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like the Cloverfield movie, like the Cloverfield Drive movie with John Goodman.
Oh, where they're all like in the basement thing,
right? The bomb shelter. I like stuff like that where it's like it could be a play. Like you could very easily make this a play for whatever reason. That just appeals to me. I have no idea. I'm not a theater kid. Like I never took drama stuff, but I I enjoy that. So, we live in an era for the past 15 years where everything gets a reboot or a remake or this or that. Remake this for the love of God. Like you don't have to make it like super good like CGI, but like practical special effects could work on like a remake for this, like very
Absolutely.
easily.
Especially the way like the Shin verse.
Yeah,
I just said that has been going.
Shin Matango, do it. I really like this movie though. It did appeal to me. I watched it during like I watched it over the past like couple days, like for real. But then like I watched it twice today.
Twice today?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You came in during my second viewing. I watched it once while I was at work, and then again.
So you watched it 3 times total, basically, in the past week?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
so I love the sets. I loved the scenery. The characters were all douchebags. So that like when nobody's like when I can't root for anybody, I'm probably gonna like the movie.
I don't know if this is just no, because I mean the dub I think is a pretty.
I think the dub is really good. Actually,
it is really good. It's like they're like this whole group is supposed to be friends. Like,
right.
And it's like, and I feel like
the first line is "All my friends are dead."
Yeah, yeah, that's the best. And it's like, and I feel like it's not like I feel like at first the movie kind of feels like this is my second time watching the movie. The first time I watched it, I think it was about a year or so ago, and I finally got around to watching it. And I remember going like, I was like, are they just like, you know, like, are they really like friends, like, or are they like all kind of together for like various reasons? I feel like it's a little. Like, you get that one flashback scene where like, they're all kind of like meeting up in the club and they're like, yeah, we're going to go on that cruise together. And they all put on like the matching necklaces. Which I was like, you nerds.
Have you seen The Glass Onion? Have you watched that yet?
I have not, but
Okay.
because I just watched the first Knives Out about 4 weeks ago.
You don't need to watch Knives Out to watch this, The Glass Onion, but this movie reminds me a lot of The Glass Onion.
Okay, that's good because I'm probably going to watch it in the next, like, I watched the first one so even though I heard that, like, you don't need to see it for the second one.
Yeah.
I still wanted to watch them in order anyway, so.
To be honest with you, I prefer Glass Onion to Knives Out.
Yep.
I think Glass Onion is a more enjoyable movie. I'm not going to say better, but it's more enjoyable for me. But like the dynamic of the friends kind of reminds me of that, where like yes, they're all like this group of friends, kind of, but not
really. Yeah. Also, you are literally the second person today to say that same thing, that Glass Onion is better than Knives Out. Literally the second person today.
Just my opinion. I'm not saying it. Like,
no, I know. It's just funny that I've had 2 similar Glass Onion conversations today. But I just thought it was funny because I worked remotely today and I was at work. That's the only thing I've done today. But,
so did I.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah, the friends. I feel like they're like a little poorly defined how like their friendship actually came together. But I do. To your point, I also do like once they get shipwrecked on the island and they like are just kind of like living in this boat and they're like slowly starting to come unglued and like basically all their shitty traits are all starting to like bubble to the top of like their personalities. Like that's where I think the movie like really starts to turn. You're like, okay, like this is good. We're watching people get unraveled in a tight space. You know, they're going out like foraging every now and then it's like they're coming back and they're just bored and just like
there's a little bit of camaraderie there where they're all like there's no like I'm not doing this, go F yourself. Like everyone just like accepts that they have a job to do and they do it, but at the same time like there's some fucking
except for the real rich guy who's like just sitting in like he takes the captain's quarters for himself and he's like just
he excludes himself from everybody else.
Yeah, and he's like well I'm the rich guy on the yacht, you know, and it's like and it's
one of my favorite things about this is when they go like be like, hey, like we're gonna start talking about like how to get out of here, like we want to include you, and the dude just like brandishing a gun.
Yeah, he's like, look what I did, huh?
Right, like just zero like good vibes. It's all bad vibes from that guy.
Yeah. I mean, then like the guy in the red tank top is like just a
total
piece
rapist.
Of garbage.
Total rapist.
And it's like at one point I'm like, why don't you just fucking shoot this guy? Like, what do you keep?
Well, they tried, but then everyone. This movie was made in '63. very reflective of current day society. He goes to shoot that guy. He has the gun, and that dude has the knife. He's like, I'm going to take these women tonight. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
And dude has the gun pointed at him, doesn't fire. And then what does everyone else do? They were going to let him just get away with it, number one. And then they attack the guy with the gun, and they're like, no, we'll hold you back. And this douchebag with the red tank top's got a knife.
Yeah.
He's sitting there, and nobody fucking approaches him.
Yeah. That's like the sort of gaps in logic that I have like a little, only in the first half of the movie. I feel like people
It makes total sense.
but it's like I feel like people will be dickheads in one scene and then like they're the rational voice in the next scene, and I feel like there's not a lot of, that's my only real critique of the movie is in the first half of the movie. I feel like characterizations don't really stick too well from scene to scene.
Yeah.
And it's like someone's the dickhead to serve the scene, but that doesn't mean they're going to be the dickhead in the next scene. They might be like the rational voice in the next scene. And that was like a little part where I was like, I feel like they're all like kind of losing their individuality a little bit. I feel like they're all just kind of like, you know, I feel like their personalities are just getting a little too meshed together. But like when we get to the last 45 minutes of the movie, however, I go, this is fucking fantastic.
Oh.
Like this is just.
When the girl lures the dude out to eat the mushrooms.
Yeah.
From that point forward, I was like, yes.
Once, or I would say even before, once the first like mushroom ghost thing like kind of comes on the boat, I was like, oh yeah, now we're talking.
So this scene reminded me of Godzilla 2014, where like it's very slow moving scene where they see the guy they see the mushroom guy, and like he's attacking that one dude, and they're sort of backing off. But before that, the red time tech dude's like going into like maybe possibly rape those women.
Yeah, maybe, possibly, definitely. They should have shot him there. But
yes, and then he comes back in. He slinks back in.
Yeah,
slink is a good word. But like the mushroom guy is there, but they don't show him right away. And then like finally, there's a big reveal where he's kind of looking like Sloth, but like a mushroom sloth. And then like they show him, and then that's it. And I'm just kind of like, well, y'all saw him, like, right? And then like the next scene, they're like, yeah, but you didn't really.
We all like hallucinated that because like he just like fades away, like, or evaporates or whatever he does.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, you cut away from it.
Well, I think it's the first time I watched it, I was very confused with that. I think he actually like fades away. Like I think he like evaporates or disappears.
Oh, so he fades out with the scene.
Yeah, because it's like because it lingers on the background scenery after he's like gone, and then like the next scene is like because they do say, "Oh, he like disappeared" or something like that, and they all say, "Oh, do we all hallucinate that?" I thought it was like I do think that transition. The first time I watched the movie, I remember going, "Well, that was weird. Like, what did you do?" And then like, but when I watched it like again for this podcast, I was like, okay, I think it's just a really sloppily done like effect of him fading away. That's what I think it is. I'm gonna go with that. Like if it is, they just cut away. Then
okay,
that's stupid.
That's how I viewed the scene. It just ended there. And then they're like, "Did that really happen?" They were all kind of like delirious. And
have you ever seen the movie on Mystery Science Theater 3000 or God forbid on its own, Monster a Go-Go?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like remember how it's like the ending to that movie? It's like they're being chased in the tunnel, then all of a sudden, like, and then we turned around and there was no monster. Was the monster ever here? It like reminds me of that. Okay. But I will say with that ending though, like I loved. I realized I think like especially like practical effects movies like this, like I am a sucker for like the gimmick of like. There's one part where they just show his legs walking. He's like dripping water as he walks, like a waterlogged zombie or something like that coming on board. I realize I am like a sucker for that. I go like, oh my god, like that's really creepy. Like something with the waterlogged aspect like makes it like even creepier to me.
Okay, it didn't creep me out, but I know what you're talking about. That scene where they're just showing his feet.
Yeah, I was like, because
that's why you like it. Never mind.
No, would you stop? But it's like, it gives it like another like. It's like, oh man, I was like, this thing just crawled through all sorts of shit just to come here to kill you. And
didn't he just come here to eat their food?
Oh, well, apparently he just came there to disappear. So,
Because then, like, afterwards, the guy's accusing the other guy of being like, "Oh, you ate all our food. You made that all up because you ate the food."
Oh no, I think that's a callback to the earlier scene where the asshole guy and the other guy are in the. They find all the canned goods and they're eating it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a callback to that. I think the mushroom people just wanted to take them to the mushrooms to make them mushrooms.
Oh, okay. I misinterpreted then. Sorry.
That's just my take. I don't know if I'm right though. I could be way off on that. But that's how I took what they were getting at.
But then, like, sort of like we were getting at the last 45 minutes when he starts eating the mushroom, and then you start seeing like all the mushroom people. And let's be real, like they look like dicks.
So E.G. Subaraya did the special effects of this, just like he did for all the Godzilla movies. And also, they released a band. We're talking about Bandai figures. The Matango mushrooms got a Bandai figure the other year.
Okay.
Now I regret not buying it.
Yeah.
But yes, they are very phallic mushrooms. I could
awesome.
not in my research. I could not find anything to determine if that was intentional or not.
Almost as many dicks as Jackass 4.
I have not seen Jackass,
Oh,
but I'll assume it's a lot of dicks.
a lot of dicks.
Okay. But I do also think though, like those, like the mushroom people, I guess we'll just call them, or the Matango, like, I mean, like they're all like laughing and giggling and shit like that, and I sit there like, yes, this is so good. Like,
Yeah.
It's just like these clearly used to be people who have just morphed into these things, and they're just laughing all the time. You got people like shooting guns at them, and they kind of fall over, but everyone's just still laughing while they're getting shot. And I was like, this is like good freaky shit right here. This
And when
is
the
good
dude,
freaky shit.
when the dude does eat the mushrooms, he like hallucinates, and he sees like the city and like the girls doing the go-go dancing, and all that shit. And it kind of plays into the ending where he's looking out the window, like spoiler, but like he's looking out the window and you see all those lights that he was seeing during his hallucination.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, oh, that's awesome. Like, that was good filmmaking right there. Good job.
I like it when the first guy eats the mushroom and like the way it gets revealed that he ate the mushroom. It's like they don't even I don't think they even show him eating it. He just comes back in the boat and he's like,
he's kind of haggard.
He's like, I'm not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
He goes, I haven't been hungry since I ate the mushroom. He goes, and then he like points to them. He goes like, I don't eat any of your food.
Yeah.
You all eat it.
Yeah.
Like, and then I think he like points the gun at them. Then I think they start killing people and stuff like that at that point. But yeah, it's like he's just like, yeah, like I love that whole like just like it was like I'm not hungry anymore. I ate the mushroom. I was like, oh, you have become the mushroom.
A little bit of a Tommy Knockers situation.
Yeah. Good ref. And then like when the guy who becomes the main guy, the one who's in that virginal relationship, like first I love how he just like leaves his girlfriend there. He's like, she won't even kiss me. So but like when he is like trying to find her and it's like all the other still living castaways, they're just sitting there getting covered in fungus, they're just like waving at him, chewing on mushrooms. I was like, oh, this is good shit, pal.
Yeah,
this is good shit right here.
And that gets to the end where it's just like a bunch of those dudes in the woods just like attacking everybody.
Yeah,
but it's like very shitty attacking. It's like everyone's fighting the Yeti.
They're hugging. I don't think there's much fighting. I think they're trying to compel him to stay.
That's why
is what I think.
That's why I said it's like they're all fighting the Yeti.
Yeah,
just because it's
it's a good little WCW reference for him.
Yeah,
but I feel like they're
Ron Reese, by the way, was the Yeti. Impact Wrestling star. Ron Reese.
Yes. Glad he was back on TV the other week. But like, I didn't get the sense they were actually trying to kill him. I thought they were just kind of like, yeah, we're gonna like hold you and like force mushrooms into you. Because because I feel like they could have really just whipped that dude's ass if they really wanted to. Like, because when they're on the boat, they don't actually kill anybody. They try to take the girl away. Well, they do take his girlfriend away, and then she's eating mushrooms. And I was like, and I do like at the end, he goes like, I probably should have stayed on the island and ate the mushrooms. I probably would be happier than being here right now. And I was like, yeah, man, you probably would have.
Because he's just in this fucking padded cell, and then he turns around finally at the end, and his face is kind of deformed.
Yeah, and then I ate the mushrooms.
Yeah, it looked like he had like sort of like you got into like a knife fight. And...
Yeah. Oh, I liked how the captain just randomly, not the yacht owner, the captain guy, like just decides randomly one day to take the boat back out to sea.
Yeah,
and then it just comes back, like, he left like basically a note saying like, yeah, I died at sea, and it's like all these other people are dead, and I was like, like little stuff like that. I go like, yeah, that's good, like little creepy stuff right there.
One scene I liked was when they were trying to like take that like boat out and like see what was going on, and they saw like the graveyard of ships that have like,
oh yeah,
and they're just like, okay, so the current must like lure ships away from their course and like crash them against the rocks, and they get stuck here and they died.
yeah,
and that's what all the mushroom people are, just like the shipwrecked survivors.
yeah. I feel like this like some missed or not missed, but like if they say there was another Matango movie, it's like I feel like there's so much room here for like some sort of like supernatural lore about like whatever goes on. Like, why does that boat drift right back after like the captain dies? You know, like that feels like a very like eerie thing. It like it felt like a weird mix of like some evil shits at work, and also like I felt like I was like also watching like a Japanese horror version of like an Agatha Christie novel or something like that. You know, like I was like, this is good. That last 45 minutes is so fucking good.
Agreed. That's why I was saying like this is my kind of movie. Like it's all like sort of in the same area. The scenery is really nice. The special effects like look really good. They look really convincing. Like from 1963 standards, especially like you would never think those boats were just miniatures, but they sure shit all
Yeah.
were.
So for context, we're after King Kong versus Godzilla, but before Mothra versus Godzilla.
Right.
So this is the golden age of Toho.
Yeah.
This is like everything they did in the 60s was gold. And
Yeah.
there's so many like War of Gargantua is out around this time. Yep. You know, the Frankenstein Conquers the World, obviously. Like this is a good time for Toho.
Yeah. So I don't have much more to say about this. Do you want to just head into the old rank skis?
Yeah, I'll give one piece of trivia.
Sure.
The Matango creatures are, if you remember in the NES Godzilla Monster of Monsters game, there's like that like weird kind of galaxy level. That's the Matango mushroom that you fight at the end of that. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that movie is game. That game is kind of whatever.
Sneaky good game.
Filled with so many deep Toho references.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the Matango mushrooms are like the galaxy levels. They're kind of like the galaxy level.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So there you go. They make an appearance in the game.
I never would have pieced that together if you didn't tell me.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, bro.
Yeah,
that's what I'm here for.
Anyway, let's rank this shindig. 5's the main eventer, 1's the jobber, 2, 3, 4 are various levels of mid card. I think I went first last time, so I want you to go first.
So I have heaped a lot of praise on it. However, I'm only giving it a 3, but a good 3. It's a strong 3.
A good 3.
It's just I think again it's about a 90-minute movie. I find the first 45 minutes to be
drab.
Yeah, it's just again because like I feel like
it's a beige car.
I feel like the characterizations like don't really stick. I feel like every character is kind of like a blank slate in the first 45 minutes, and I feel like they're not really established characters until after that 45-minute point. Leading up to that, again, I feel like it's like every scene is like one person's kind of playing the role of Dick, and then the next scene they're playing the role of, like voice of reason, but it's not really consistent with the characters. And I feel like when in that last 45 minutes, I feel like everyone's in a much more cemented, defined role.
Yeah.
And then also everything in that last 45 minutes is like, that is some good trippy horror shit going on there.
Yeah.
It's excellently done, that last 45 minutes.
I think 3 is a fair ranking. I really liked I would categorize it not so much horror but more suspense and thriller kind of aspect to it. Just because like you don't really know like the mushroom people are out there, like when it's called like the Attack of the Mushroom People, but if it's called Matango.
Yeah, the American release really hit it on the nose.
Yeah. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the US title on this thing, the raw top brand title, and give this a 4.
Oh, you're giving it the old Austin Theory treatment?
I'm thinking more Lashley.
More Lashley. Okay.
But I thoroughly enjoyed this. Like I said, I like movies that could be plays. I like when you have like sort of like an entourage of people who all of them are kind of like despicable in their own way.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to cheer for anyone. I don't need to insert my personality on like a character to enjoy a movie. I can just watch people be douchebags to each other for 90 minutes and be perfectly contented with it. This movie, like, really, like, the mushrooms looking like dicks really kind of won me over. Like, I would give this a 3 if that didn't happen.
Okay.
But, like, come on, man. Like, dude, growing up, you see tits in, like, every movie. Like, that movie about the girl who goes to high school and pretends to be a boy. And, like, the reporter, like, I forget what it's called, but, like, she gets a crush on the guy and she rips off her tuxedo and she shows her big...
Who stars in this movie?
I forget. It was an 80s movie. Just one of the guys. That's what it's called.
Oh, I never saw that.
But, like, yeah, I remember that was my first time seeing tits. And I've seen tits in, like, tons of movies, but you never see dick in movies. So, like, this is as close as you get in the 60s. So, yeah, 4. Really weird thing to say.
I know. I was kind of wondering how you're going to tie it all together, and it didn't disappoint.
Yeah,
didn't disappoint.
Thanks.
Okay. Huh.
1, 2.
And
I'm on like my 6th claw. So.
And well, I think on that note, and now a word from our sponsors.
Did you get any figs?
No, we're going to fix that in a moment. But first, I did not get any figures, but I did get one purchase. Did you get some stuff and things?
I did. I went to the bathroom and I gave you a chance to sort of glance around and see if you could figure out what I got. Did you figure it out?
I did not. Also, I didn't look super hard.
Oh, okay.
Because I was formulating the next segment in my head.
Oh yeah, you had other things to think about. So I am going to just take a second here and point to it.
What have you done? Oh, you got a jet. You know what? I looked at that earlier. It didn't even register in my head. You got a Jet Jaguar reaction figure.
I sure did. So my options were the Series 1 Rodan or Jet Jaguar. And at $18, I was getting one of them because I was also getting a WWE Mattel Ultimate figure at the moment. So I was just like,
okay,
I'll do this, but I'm only getting one.
So what do you think? Now that you have them?
Perfectly fine. $10 figure.
Okay. Well, that you paid.
Costing me lunch at someplace out that day. Not the greatest, but it's a good figure. I like it. It's it's the same thing I say about Super 7 every time with these reaction figures. A well-made small figure that looks great, like on a work desk, just wherever, like you can fit it.
Mm-hmm.
But at $18, it's come on, man. Come on. That's a Playmates costs half as much for twice as big.
Well, the thing that I bought also cost me $18, which includes shipping. The purchase itself was about $9, and I paid about that much in shipping. Well, let me tell you what I got. Let me set the scene a little bit. So we live in the New England area. This past Friday, last Friday, was wind chill of minus 40 degrees out where we live.
Sure was.
So, wasn't going anywhere last Friday. A very good friend of mine, was up in this area visiting. She was hanging out with my wife and I. We just said we're not going out. We'll just have a lot of old drink skis at the house. I totally forgot that I had did this until I got the Macari alert that it had shipped 2 days later. And it said, your purchase of the empty monogram Godzilla bag clip box has shipped. So I bought an empty display box from that you would see in Target that holds all these monogram Godzilla bag clips.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I bought one of those.
I'm just baffled.
You should. I think what I had done was, I think when I opened up Macari, I think like that's one of my savings because I'm still missing one bag clip.
I know. That's why I was thinking. Like, I thought you were gonna go there for a second.
No,
when you said like, oh, just like this empty display box, I was kind of like, oh.
So I totally forgot that I did this, but sure as shit, on that minus 40-degree night, I pulled that trigger. I hit that buy button. Forgot all about it until Sunday when it said your empty bag clip box has shipped, and I was like, I did that. I did that. And I got it. It's a glorious box. I don't quite know what I'm doing with it because it's kind of long, and I'm trying to figure out where I can put it. And I already got the bag clips already immaculately displayed, so maybe I might start putting the duplicates in there. I don't know, but I got a box. Don't know what to do with it yet.
Did you get a good deal on it, or did you like overpay for what it is?
Well, as I just said, in total with shipping, it was $18. But again,
I just don't have any frame of like reference. Is that a good deal?
The box was $8 or $9, whatever it was.
Okay.
And, I don't know. I mean, that's probably not a good deal. I mean, as I talk it through, it sounds like a total fucking waste of money. But that's what I did.
All right.
But now here's what I thought I was going to do, because I didn't buy any figures, right? So I want you to give me a character and give me a number.
Like
a Godzilla, or a Jason character. Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman.
Okay. And
a number.
What like parameters on the number?
I mean, let's keep it to like within like 20 or 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I'm not going to do the obvious. I need to give me a second to think about this. It's a deep cut. I want to do a deep cut. Ibra 13.
Ibra 13. Okay. So what I have done is I have opened up eBay. I have set a price filter of $20 max. I am going to search for Ibra. I'm going to set it to buy it now. And whatever the 13th item is, I'm going to purchase that.
Oh, wow.
And then we'll discuss it in the next podcast.
So,
and I am not I am sorting by relevancy, not lowest plus shipping or anything like that. Like, so whatever
just whatever type that in.
Yeah, whatever 13 is what it's going to be.
So to get there, I got to explain this. Ibra is basically a big lobster. I was thinking of Joey Janela eating lobster. And then 13, unlucky. I hope I didn't fuck you.
That's actually kind of sick.
Like, that's all I'm thinking of now. Is like, oh god, like he's gonna get something for like $250. Isn't
no, I put a price cap at $20.
But like for 13. Oh, never mind.
No, it's the 13th. It's the 13th eBay listing.
Gotcha. Okay.
But the price cap is set at $20.
Is there going to be 13 Ibra items on eBay?
A lot of them were the bag clip, but fortunately the 13th one landed me on. I'll read it in a second. Let me just complete my purchase.
Okay.
It is a Ibra chibi style finger puppet, and actually I love those. I have a whole ton of those. So that actually worked out pretty well. That'll be my penance whenever I don't have a proper figure to discuss in this podcast.
We should start. Yeah, let's start doing that. Let's make that a thing.
Yeah,
I don't have figures most of the time.
Yeah,
I look for them all the time,
and we can change the price scale too. Like,
okay,
but maybe it was a little ambitious with $20. I think I was maybe hoping it was going to land something for like $9, but I mean, I said what I said, so I went with it.
I mean, I got some White Claws for $20 today. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, the Jet Jaguar figure, like, the reason I got that instead of Rodan is because I have several Rodan figures and a couple that I really like. Like I really like the 54 Playmates figure. I really like the NECA figure. But like I only have one Jet Jaguar, and while I do like that figure, like I do feel like it's a little bit underrepresented given his current resurgence and popularity.
Yeah, I think there's a game of catch up going on here.
Yeah.
Like,
so like even though it's the Gigan, excuse me, the
Megalon
figure. Yes, thank you. I don't know why I said I recently
Gigan's
watched
in the movie.
Yeah. Even though it's that representation, not like the singular point one, like it still looked awesome.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's kind of like where I was with it. I was like, I'll get this Jet Jaguar figure. It's the only one there. There was 2 Rodans. Next episode, you might have a Rodan figure here.
Maybe. But yeah, we are in the JJ Renaissance. You know,
I'm cool with Jet Jaguar getting his.
I think
flowers.
I think the seeds were planted back when Godzilla Save the Earth Melee came out. Or Godzilla Save the Earth, not Godzilla Save the Earth Melee. But when that came out back in the day, I think that was like
2003.
But I mean, it's like, I mean, you know, Jet Jaguar was always written off as like this like awful joke character, and I feel like now starting with that, you know, he's in the comics, you know, but then obviously Singular Point is basically the Jet Jaguar story. Is what Singular Point basically is. It's like, and I think all this stuff kind of avalanches together to put us in the Jet Jaguar Renaissance.
Because I never viewed Jet Jaguar as like a joke or anything like that. Because I remember playing that game, you could like be big Jet Jaguar and he shrinks down. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, you know, like he has like he has more playability options to him.
He had that sweet spinning double uppercut thing that like launched people in the air. I think it was just like.
So I never viewed him as a joke at all. Like that game was my introduction to Jet Jaguar.
Yeah,
you explaining him to me, and I always thought he was fine.
I'm just like, I feel like since like the early '90s to now, it's like I've watched the Godzilla fandom go through such different like waves. It's like what's cool and what's not cool, and it's like, you know, it's like I said in the past, like in the '90s, like granted, some of this is like a recency bias. It's like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Godzilla versus Mothra. Like in the '90s, like those were regarded as like those are the best Godzilla movies. Like nothing else is close. Like besides maybe like everything in the '90s was like the tops
and like undershaved mushroom cuts.
and yeah, the bowl cuts and like in chain wallets, but like
that was me.
But like you can't like, you know, I remember there was like a vibe of like you can't even like ironically enjoy Godzilla versus Megalon. Like anything in the '70s is too campy, too weird. It's like, you know, there's such a different view on this stuff now. Like campy is like fun. Like I always thought campy was fun.
I love campy shit and always have. But like I remember the '90s being like the Tood. Like everything was like, you know, you got like a smoking fucking Joe Camel cartoon.
Yeah.
You get the fucking Cheetos guy who's probably smoking cigarettes with him.
Yeah.
They're great. R.I.P. Thomas. Oh no, excuse me. Marshall, whatever his name was.
Okay, I don't know who that was.
I'm messing up my TNA commentators with my WCW commentators.
Oh, Jim Marshall.
Thank you. But like, yeah, the '90s were like, if any era should have embraced camp, like Scream. Come on, that was entirely camp. It wasn't horror movie.
Sure, yeah.
Like, if any era should have embraced the camp, it was the '90s. I grew up in the '90s.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I was a WCW kid in the '90s.
My memories of the '90s Godzilla fandom as a whole was like Hedorah and Megalon are the 2 worst Godzilla movies ever. Everything else in the '70s sucks except for Terror of Mechagodzilla. That's a throwback.
Which is, it's so bizarre because like I feel like if you like Terror of Mechagodzilla, you should probably love Hedorah #1, and like Megalon's like fun.
Yeah, but it was like my memory is like No, we don't like the fun. Those are the low budget movies. Those are like the ones that give Godzilla a bad name. And we have to. And I'm not saying like there's anything bad about any of these other '90s movies. Just like the vibe was just different. It was like the popular opinion was that like, now like Godzilla versus Mothra in '92. That's just the top Godzilla movie. That's just, like that's was always movie. It's a good movie, but like it was like weird to me that like that was, even looking back, going like I was like that's regarded as like the best, and it's like stuff like Godzilla versus Ibra.
Yeah,
that's another movie that would be held in really low regard. And I go like, I'm like, that movie is like way more fun than like Godzilla versus Mothra, in my opinion.
Oh, I disagree with that. I think Godzilla versus Mothra is way better than Ibra.
The '92 one.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess you would have been lying with these '90s folks, but like
no, because like when I think of the '90s, I think of Space Godzilla.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck that shit.
I think that was the one movie that was always kind of universally just like, what is going on with this movie? This movie's like
only for that like one scene that I absolutely hated,
the meteor field one. Yeah, there's that, and I just think like it's just so oddly paced. I don't know. The whole movie's just like there's that weird Yakuza subplot and stuff going on in it. It's like weird. Like I mean, Destroya was kind of like maligned a little bit too, and now it's like Destroy is like a really well liked movie.
I don't think that movie is well liked enough. Everyone always points to Biollante as like the pinnacle of the Heisei era. I'm kind of like, I kind of prefer Destroy.
I think
the storyline with Godzilla Jr. against like the smaller Destroyer and then burning Godzilla against bigger Destroyer is kind of awesome.
Yeah,
Biollante is still a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but I think I prefer Destroy.
Yeah, I prefer Biollante, but I also think Destroy is like I think those two like they're kind of with each other. You know, like
and both of those brand new monsters, like first time in the series, and like
first time in the line.
Yeah, first time in the line. Exactly. We're eventually just going to be the major wrestling figure podcast for kaiju.
Yeah,
that's the end game.
But also
I am going to get into suit acting and become the most maligned yet over guy ever, and you will be a good hand.
Maybe I'll maybe for all you know that offline I'm exploring how to launch my own toy line. But but like I don't know, that's also something too. It's like the two movies that have like the original characters. Granted, Space Godzilla's an original character too, but it's like the two movies that like are centered around two original enemies, like are like the two most original, the two most like best stories, because like they're not like beholden to like this kind of like old kind of character narratives they gotta kind of stick to. And like,
but even the remakes for monsters that came back, they kind of weren't beholden either.
Oh, Ghidorah, like, they were just like, oh, we're gonna throw that out the window.
Yeah, exactly. But then like even Mothra and Batra, we throw that like nothing to do with the original movie.
Well, Batra I think is like the most compelling aspect of that movie. And it's like, because I feel like so much time is spent on like, oh, you brought Mechagodzilla back, but you made him a good guy? Okay, so he's going to kind of like stick out now, like a little bit, kind of. It's like a distraction. It's like a weird, but when you just have like a brand new character, you go, all right, like we can write like a good story around this new character.
So Heisei Mechagodzilla is babyface Miz.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah, basically. You know, it's like. It's so weird to have this, like, it's just it's also like weird now. Like I'm really having like reflections on like Godzilla fandom in the '90s, post Destroya, pre-Millennium series, and like everyone's just like, okay, well, you know, this '90s Mechagodzilla, that's our new favorite Mechagodzilla. And I go, and I used to always be like, I would read this stuff or see this online. I would sit there and like, I was like, what? I was like. The alien war machine from the 70s is like not as cool as like this dude from the 90s. Like I was like this super sleek, like way too perfect looking.
I would definitely say Showa Mechagodzilla is 3 times better than Heisei Mechagodzilla.
Yes, agreed. But then I think like Kiryu kind of comes along, and I think like
Kiryu's cool. I like Kiryu.
Kiryu, I think has a lot of like cross appeal to like.
Yeah.
If you're a casual Godzilla fan, like he's kind of like I have no better way to put this. Like, he kind of has like anime vibes to me in the way he's like
Yes.
designed.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like, and I feel like he kind of incorporates aspects of Showa
Yes.
and
that's what
Millennium.
I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah.
And it's like, and so it's like, and then plus you get like the whole thing that like it's a mech body around the bones of the original Godzilla, and you go like,
Which
okay,
is the coolest.
that was
thing
like,
ever.
there's a lot of like really cool things to Kiryu, and like, he's got the sleek design. So I think Kiryu has like kind of erased 93 Mechagodzilla
absolutely
from
yeah.
any Mechagodzilla conversations at this point. Like,
I go back and forth on like if I like Showa or Kiryu better. Like
yeah,
any which way the wind blows, I'm gonna give you a different answer on that. But like they're both pretty awesome.
yeah. I mean, Showa being such a dirtbag, I think will always make him be my top one, because like
He just sits back and watches Titanosaurus beat the shit out of Godzilla.
yeah, and then like, but then like in the first movie, he's very mobile. He's just
Yeah.
kicking ass all over the
Right.
place.
But so he's almost like the Lucha Underground. What's his name?
Mil Mortis. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it's
he's
like,
almost the Mil Mortis of the kaiju, the kaiju universe.
it's like they keep trying to get over how he's just like this like cold, unfeeling machine, but like he also comes off like a super dick. And like
Yeah.
like it seems like he knows he's being an asshole. And I
He
go like,
gets
no,
off-
no, he's not unfeeling. He's got feelings, and they're all feelings of being an asshole.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him cool. like when he's beating the shit out of King Caesar, there's like one point where he just takes like his like missile fingers and just goes, "Yeah, I'm just jamming these in your throat." like that's like cold-blooded shit. And it's like, and I go, yeah, that's pretty awesome, like. And then we get to like the GVK Mechagodzilla, which is growing on me more all the time. It's still, I think, my least favorite design, but I don't view it as a bad design. It's just my least.
It's not my least favorite design. Heisei is my least favorite design.
Yeah, it's kind of hanging out with that one.
I don't like it better than Kiryu or Showa. Like I go back and forth, but like the more I watched it, like I watched that movie probably like 5 or 6 times, like in the first month of its release.
Mhm.
Just loved it, and like the Terminator aspect of it, like I love the first Terminator movie. It's like one of my favorite movies. It's
Mhm.
fucking so good. Like this is the way that movie plays out is just insane, and like Terminator 2 is like heralded as like one of the better movies, like probably the best of the series. But I kind of prefer the first one, and to me, like that Mechagodzilla like more reminisces of the original Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator
T-800.
800. Yeah, thank you. And just like how he's like just unrelenting, just evil, and he's like better than Godzilla in almost every way once he gets that like power source, which is insane because Godzilla is the king of the monsters. So
Mhm.
how are you better? But like it carries over that feeling that Mechagodzilla is sort of like, not only is he secretly Godzilla's real main rival, but he's like also kind of better. He's almost Raven to Godzilla's Tommy Dreamer.
I also agree that's like, I always go like, when people go, oh yeah, well, King Ghidorah is, Godzilla's rival. I go, I don't know, who's the one that's actually got some, well, you can say in Monster Zero, you can maybe count that as King Ghidorah win. But I was like, who's got the most wins in the W column? Mechagodzilla historically is the most successful.
Yeah, it's Mankind going against Undertaker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, first encounter, I don't count that as a draw. I count it as Mechagodzilla wins. If you break the Terra Mechagodzilla fight into 2 fights, Mechagodzilla wins the first one.
Yeah.
You break the 93 movie into separate fights. Like, I mean, Mechagodzilla literally fucking kills Godzilla at one point in that fight, and he gets revived.
Yeah.
And then in the Millennium series, it's like a bunch of draws.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I'll give Mechagodzilla the win in Godzilla versus Godzilla X Mechagodzilla. Tokyo SOS, probably a draw, yeah. But
Because they both like plummet to the ocean in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the first one, I kind of give it to Mechagodzilla because he survives Godzilla's attack and sends him, like, he takes a powder.
He does. But like Mechagodzilla's us like out of power at that point. And it's like if Godzilla just stuck around, he would have just wiped him.
He would have won.
But
he was so hurt that he left.
But either way, like, when Mechagodzilla appears, that like Godzilla's win is not a foregone conclusion. Yeah.
The only reason Godzilla won in GVK was because of Kong. Kong won that fight.
Yes.
Godzilla was about to die.
Yep.
We were about to watch legendary Godzilla get his fucking head blown off.
That's right. I still think one of the this is our free Patreon episode we're giving away. I still think one of the biggest missteps in King of the Monsters is that they didn't give King Ghidorah that clean win when they're fighting in the ocean in San Juan, where like Rodan appears. When they drop like the oxygen destroyer and like Godzilla like basically gets like,
they should have had Ghidorah like. The oxygen destroyer weakens him, but Ghidorah hits the final blow.
Yeah, I think they should have just had King Ghidorah just win
show
clean.
Him underwater, just electrifying Godzilla, and Godzilla just like shaking.
Yeah, I think King Ghidorah should have gone over clean in that fight because I think they would have really established that like King Ghidorah is like the biggest threat, and I feel like that now has like that felt like as we keep going with the wrestling references, that felt like that felt like when Undertaker beats Hogan at any Tuesday in Texas, whatever it was.
No, Hogan won a Tuesday in Texas.
Oh, okay, then Saturday Night's Main Event.
It was Survivor Series 91.
Thank you. Okay,
Flair puts the chair into the ring.
Yes, and he tombstones him under the chair.
Taker does not tombstone him on the chair at all.
Well, then that paralyzed Hogan, as we hear years later. But like that's what it felt like, where it was like that. Like it felt like there's an outside interference to it, aspect to it. Right, Ghidorah wins, but he doesn't win without help.
But I think that enhances his character as the usurper. You know what I mean? Because Rodan bows to him.
Sure.
So, and they just fought like during that fight too.
You could also say Ghidorah was a little worn down because he's whipping ass left and right. But I think he should have beat him without the oxygen destroyer. I think he should just like beat him up clean.
I like the idea of the oxygen destroyer like weakening Godzilla, and then Ghidorah underwater hits the final blow, and his electricity just like fucks with Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's like shaking.
Yeah.
And like not dead, but like just like convulsing, you know what I mean? Like just like really messed up from the fight.
Yeah.
And then Ghidorah resurfaces, regrows Kevin, and and then
we get the best shot in the Monsterverse.
Yeah, Rodan bows to him.
Although I guess like Ghidorah does like basically whip the shit out of Godzilla in Boston later in the movie, but
kind of.
I mean,
it's
if
a good fight.
If that was GVK, they would have awkwardly inserted someone going, "Well, I guess round 2 goes to King Ghidorah," like they awkwardly did in GVK,
to give Kong a little bit of cred.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's Mechagodzilla with the most W's. Even I'm just thinking in my head really fast. Even over Mothra. So
yeah, Mothra's more of like a tag partner. Like someone you're tagging up with, and then like you have your feud with, you know what I mean? Like you try to make money against each other, and and then eventually you realize like no, the money's with them together, and that's what Monsterverse was, which was 1000% correct. And but like yeah, they're almost like the Rockers in a way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Or I was more thinking they're kind of more like when Matt Hardy and MVP had their tag title. They are tag champs together, but also feuding over the U.S. title at the same time. But yeah, I mean, Ghidorah has like no wins against Godzilla. Got one,
which is a shame. Like you should, because Ghidorah is just the fucking best.
Sure,
I love it.
Sure.
But it's like, he doesn't have the great win-loss record. You're right about that.
Yeah. I feel like this retro. I mean, Ghidorah is just so iconic and just so mainstream famous, and then it's like I feel like there is a retrofitting narrative trying to be like, oh yeah, no, King Ghidorah is like that's like the big threat. And it's like, yep. Well, I was like, King Ghidorah is the final boss character that always gets defeated, but yes. Mechagodzilla is the one that actually gets the wins. So, in
a weird way, King Ghidorah is sort of like the Shao Kahn, and then Mechagodzilla is the
Kintaro. Was that what it was before Shao Kahn or Goro?
King Ghidorah, King Ghidorah is like Shang Tsung, and then Mechagodzilla is like the Shao Kahn.
Yeah,
I got it backwards.
Yeah, okay. I see where you're going now. Yeah. Yeah. So Mechagodzilla, you're the top enemy.
Like like when you debate like who's the bigger threat, Mechagodzilla is the bigger threat because they're so similar, and Mechagodzilla edges him out in every way. But it's always like Godzilla finds a way to beat him. He's like more resilient, but King Ghidorah is more of like the styles clash. Like he can fly, Godzilla can fly, but come on, give me a break. Or as AI Gorilla Monster would say, give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
But like, Ghidorah is everything that Godzilla isn't. He has 3 heads, Godzilla has 1. Godzilla has arms, he can punch you, Ghidorah can't. Ghidorah has wings, Godzilla doesn't. So it's like a complete clash of like visuals, like Godzilla's black and greenish, I guess you could say. Ghidorah is gold.
Charcoal gray. He's charcoal. That's the official color. Charcoal gray.
Cool. It's just like a complete difference. And when they meet, like the poster from the Heisei movie, just like it's just so beautiful. And like GMK is my favorite Godzilla movie. Like Ghidorah kind of sucks in that. He's really like doing the jobs for him at that point. He's just putting them over like over and over and over again to make the towns at that point.
That's the one movie too where it's like I really found myself like rooting for King Ghidorah to like actually win.
Yeah, he was for once he was the baby face.
And then he's died over and over again.
Yeah, it's the only time Ghidorah is the baby face in any movie too. Which if they're gonna bring him back in a future movie, like I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, they like bring back like another Ghidorah, a son of Ghidorah, maybe. That's cool.
Like you know how Karate Kid did like the Johnny Lawrence like make him the sympathetic hero.
Thing
in the new Netflix and YouTube thing that came out, and the first couple scenes were really good. But like do that to Ghidorah, make him like a baby face.
Yeah. They should actually use that original design or paint scheme of Ghidorah, where he's like the rainbow colored one.
Rainbow Ghidorah is the baby face. It's
he's like all like his body's all blue, but his wings are rainbows. And I was like, it's good. It's very good.
It's like what are the Venom things called?
The Venom things. You mean the other
Carnage, Venom.
The other symbiotes?
Symbiotes, yeah.
Oh, then you're talking about this.
So make Ghidorah like the symbiotes, like, and like Rainbow Ghidorah is like the good guy. Gold Ghidorah is like the ultimate, just like he's like Carnage basically.
Yeah.
And then like you have like Des Ghidorah as like, all the other like what was the fucking one in the first Venom movie?
Havoc. So Havoc is part of. So this way that you were referencing, there's when Venom first broke off in his own like Lethal Protector comic series, like those Havoc was part of like these other 4 symbiotes that were like part of like the Life Foundation, and I thought you were referencing that, but
that's what I guess
that
like,
was a little
like make like different versions of Ghidorah, like different like symbiotes, and like have them have their own distinct personalities, and like rather than them being like the ultimate bad guy, like make some.
They're all different parts,
Make some kind of fucking wusses, like losers like me.
Did you ever play the Spider-Man Venom separation anxiety game, the one that came out after Maximum Carnage?
No.
I was gonna say that features the 5 different symbiotes from the.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we're talking about the Venom movie, so there's symbiotes.
Dude, whatever. I'm not gonna get bogged down in fucking.
There's Symbi Quaker Oats.
If anyone wants to give me shit, fucking have at it.
No, they're symbiotes. They're not symbiotes. I don't know why they say that in the movie. There's no such thing as symbiotes. There's symbiotes. Symbiotes, yeah.
It's easy enough, but they fucked it up. So what?
I know.
I mispronounce things all the time.
They just got really committed though.
It's Sony. It's Sony Pictures.
Yeah. It was like, it was like, whatever. That was such a weird thing they committed to. They doubled down on, but that's fine.
But but that like maybe you do that like to like because like you've always like said recently that Ghidorah is kind of like you're sick of him, like give him a break.
Yeah.
Send them on
yeah.
vacation or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's meat in that bone, and if you just handled it correctly, like, make like a small Ghidorah, like a Ghidorah Jr. or something, who's like just trying to fucking survive and getting his ass kicked all the time, getting bullied around by fucking Gabra or whatever.
Mm-hmm. He's punching him in all three heads.
Right. Dude, just the fucking Dolph Lundgren triple kick from Gabra onto the 3 mini Ghidorah heads. Dude, fucking sign me up right there.
Yeah, I said I was getting sick of Ghidorah because like it goes a predictable path. Like when Ghidorah appears, like
Right.
he's presented as the overwhelming threat.
He's the big bad guy, yeah.
But he ultimately just loses.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I feel like there's no, and that's how the story is always going to end, with Godzilla triumphing over Ghidorah. But Ghidorah doesn't get any wins along the way.
Right.
You know, it's like he always puts Godzilla in peril, but like never really gets like the wins for the most part. You know, that's where I go, like it becomes predictable storytelling with Ghidorah.
Yeah.
And while you assume every kaiju is ultimately going to lose Godzilla in the end, like that doesn't mean that along the way you can't have Godzilla lose to them. And it's just like that story's just never played out with Ghidorah.
Like, even if you don't give him a clean win, just like you have the interference with the oxygen destroyer.
Yeah.
You have another monster come in and help Ghidorah win. That just makes him seem like more of a dick.
Yeah.
Like Gigan's the perfect monster to have that happen with, because he's also considered like a coward and a dick. So like, yeah, have a Gigan Rex show up with like a Ghidorah fucking dickhead who's just, and they just fuck Godzilla up for a little bit. They don't kill him because they can't. Like, maybe some other monsters show up to scare them away, but like they definitively defeat Godzilla. Like, absolutely, there's meat in that bone.
Yeah,
sign me up.
Yeah, like I mean, when Godzilla and X Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS came out, just because of the role that Mechagodzilla was playing and the history that the Mechagodzilla character has, and Godzilla being the bad guy in those movies, like those movies, the first time I watched them, I go like, I don't know how this is gonna end. You know, I don't know if Godzilla's getting out of this one alive, because like I would try to like avoid spoilers for those movies. Like, and I go, if someone's got a track record here, this is the enemy character that's got the track record, and it's like, right. And that kept me very much in suspense for like, or like when with GVK, when like, you know, there's reportedly different endings that were filmed for GVK, like when they didn't know what was going on with the license, like that, like maybe Mechagodzilla and Godzilla do die together, like at the end, like, you know, those are now, whether those rumors were credible or not is a different conversation. But
it's
like,
fun to speculate, but I don't know.
Like, but there's enough history with Mechagodzilla being a threat that like I read that and go, well, if it's gonna happen with somebody, like this is the character, this is the enemy I expected to happen with.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and I think, and now as we're talking it through, I'm sitting there going like, that's just like the really well done job that Mechagodzilla's been built up over the decades. You know, and it's like, but if you said, oh yeah, like, you know, Ghidorah is going to be the enemy in this one, I was like, there's no chance Godzilla's dying to Ghidorah or with Ghidorah. Like, but Mechagodzilla, go, oh, I don't know.
What if in the MonsterVerse we get a resurrected Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla and Kong?
That'd be so much to process.
And what if it's the ending of the Megalon fight where like Godzilla shows up, like they're beating up Kong, and then Godzilla shows up in like the Ring of Fire?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like I want Godzilla and Kong just be like together through like an entire movie,
and then like Mothra shows up and like takes off her skirt, like distracts them.
Oh god! But I want Godzilla and Kong to like buddy cop movie from like here on out. Like I want them to like be.
It's like a Lethal Weapon situation.
Yeah, I don't want them to spend
48 hours would be more accurate.
I don't want them to be like away from each other. Like I want them to just be hanging out together for the whole movie, like being kind of bitchy with each other and shit like that.
48 hours.
It's like I want them to be like that. Like I don't want this whole like, you know, like
Godzilla is Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy is Kong. Eddie Murphy is like kind of like the jubilant, like happy guy who's like making jokes, and then Godzilla is just no nonsense.
Yeah, he's like just sour right the entire time. Yeah. Like that's how I want the next movie to be. I want them to be like together the entire time. Like, I want this to be like, okay, we're all coming at the climax together. Like, I want them to be like just annoyed with each other, but like they're making it work. And I think money will follow. There's money in Godzilla and Kong being pals, finally, after all these years. There's money in that.
I will go ahead and agree with you on that one.
We have settled the
Jim,
fight.
You're so right.
GVK settled the debate and settled the fight. Now there's no more money in that. There's money in them being together.
Yep.
Let's partner them up.
So it's kind of like the Fast and Furious movies where they're just kind of like, just keep introducing like bad guys for like the people you'll like to go against, I'm
going to guess that was a pitch room or whatever it's called reference, but
like, no, like,
yes,
in Fast and Furious, you got like you introduce The Rock and he's like a good guy, and you have like Vin Diesel and they're going against Jason Statham, who was like, he's the bad guy, but he's so likable that like they turn him good guy, and then you have like The Rock and Jason Statham turning against like a new bad guy, and things like that. Like make it like that, just like that shit fucking attracts people. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, do that. Yeah. Do that. I did not sit in the Fast and the Furious lore. You did, but that makes sense.
I've seen like most of those movies.
Apparently,
they're fun.
Sure,
they're good action movies.
I got nothing against that.
Like, I don't see how anyone could hate them. To be honest with you, I'm not a car guy at all, but like they're fun movies.
I believe it.
So
I've just never seen them. But now we know.
I guess you don't care about family.
Well,
what are we doing next time?
I think we decided off mic that we're going to do the Game Gear. Godzilla game.
I am cool with some Game Gear.
Yep.
Sega. Yep. Why do they want me to say "ga"?
So they check your tonsils.
All right.
Well, we did it.
We got there. Anything you want to leave our listener with?
I haven't been hungry since I ate the mushrooms before I got here.
And as always, would you stop?